of this organization and consideration drawing boundaries, the thing you used was using identifiable geographic boundaries is a specific factor directing this task force. River Road Association codified their geographic boundaries by block numbers and neighborhood descriptions in the River Road Neighborhood Association bylaws in 1977. Geographic boundaries are also described in our neighborhood. Plans developed by the neighborhood and the planning department and were codified by ordinance and approved by council. The neighborhood, if you look, the top of the little red thing, I wish I had a little pointer here for you, bounded on the north, east, south, is all Brackenridge Park. We are the only neighborhood in the city that's adjacent to the park. It surrounds us. Also on the east is the San Antonio River, and this is where the residents are. Over here, we have the San Antonio River, and then around here is the golf course. On the west is Highway 281. And so that locks us into this neighborhood. So when we say we're impacted by the park, we're impacted by the park every day. Maps of the neighborhood can be seen on the COSA One Stop map, and of course the COSA Neighborhood Associations map. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mr. De Leon, followed by Eric Estrada.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your service. I know you have a very difficult job to do, but I want you to listen to what the community wants us to say. I know that during the last meeting, they kept referring the other ones, and that's not right. We all citizens, and we have the right to speak, and that's the reason why you people are here, to listen to us of what we want in our neighborhoods. This neighborhood has been here for a long time. As a matter of fact, the Estwood district, nobody wanted it because, or this area, because there's no money up here, no density. And by you extending the boundaries from District 5 to District 6, that will eliminate the chances for us to get a senior citizen center. When you have these heat alerts and these winter alerts, we don't have a place to go because there's none. We have a lot of people that have been requesting things up here in the west side, and it seems to me like we're the underdogs of the city. Nobody listens to us. By you extending the boundaries towards the west, I mean towards the where that triangle is at, that will keep District 6 intact, which we have the possibility of getting support from District 5, which now is growing west at a rapid speed. Did I understand that the developers are not asking for money for their structures that they're building? And I'd like to read you this report that we had probably about 4 or 5 years, but there's also one from St. Mary's University, where it said that 281 corridor has approximately 80% of the equity, wealth, education, based on the east side and south side. The east side having 11% equity, education, density, and also the south side have 10%. We up here on District Code 78237 have approximately 0.01, not even 1%. So by you extending the geographical map towards the west, we're going to be on District 5. They're in the same position as we are. As a matter of fact, the mayor stated that they wanted to help them. Thank you.
Is Eric Estrada here? Yes, thank you. Eric Estrada, followed by Joseph Mesa. Joseph. And then after Mr. Mesa is Hector Santos.
My name is Eric Estrada. I'm from District 6. First of all, I want to say good evening to all the committee members. Thank you for allowing me to address you tonight. I previously did address the committee at the 2-yard redistricting meeting a few weeks ago. I am the president of Los Jardines Neighborhood Association, founded in 2003, which has been the topic of much discussion at recent redistricting meetings to include the previous meetings. We are all located in District 6 and have been so for many years, just like Mr. De Leon had mentioned previously. One of our boundaries is a very street that's very outside of this building right now, Old Highway 90 and Barrera Parkway. That's our northern boundary, just a few blocks from here east of toward 151. Our other boundaries are South San Joaquin to the east, Castro to the south, Acme to the west. As you know, in the current map, all of that would be is currently in District 5. Our neighborhood encompasses Cuellar Park and the Edgewood Academy, and a majority of voter precincts 2043 and 2019. In previous meetings, I've heard, that's one of the iffy issues, that you really shouldn't be breaking up voting blocks. And one thing I have not heard anyone say is that 2043, because I always hear 2019, but 2043 is 3/4 of the way broken up by this current version of the map. Since that boundary goes past 151 with the Castro Rail US 90 on the south, and it goes all the way up to Callahan. So if you look that up in the map, that's a biggie. 2043 is broken up by 3/4, and 2019 is also broken up by pretty much the same ratio. So please keep this in mind when you're moving forward. I am hopeful that District 5 and 6 have met and came up with a solution or solutions that are acceptable and follow the many committee guidelines. I did propose a framework solution at the previous meeting, and I think others may mention it tonight. We have several members here from Los Jardines, and I'd like to thank those that are here who will be speaking and are here representing or who have submitted public comment. Thank you for those members. Well, ideally, that being said, I would prefer to keep the neighborhood whole in District 6, but if it means that we can have some of our members remain in 6, I would be open to a split compromise proposal with some of our members in District 5 and others remaining in District 6. Although I do hope this would be a last resort solution. I do hope other proposals are looked at first and use this as a last resort solution. That being said, I do hope you see how much we all care and fight for our neighborhood, its identity, its makeup, and its character. Thank you for your time, and please consider everyone's feedback today in your proposed solutions. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Joseph Mesa. I live in District 6. My kids are here with me as well. We actually play ball at Edgewood Park, Edgewood Youth Athletic Association. I myself grew up as a foster kid, was adopted by the president who runs it now. I was given that chance to be put into sports, so I know how much it means to kids growing up that don't have a father figure or don't have a role model to show them what it takes to be that, right? I work 60, 70 hours a week, and I still manage to attend practices, attend tournaments every weekend. I host tournaments at Edgewood for the kids in the neighborhood, not only from District 6, but from Southwest Side, from Converse, Helotes, even teams from out of town come to play at Edgewood. Over the past few years since he's taken over, we've done tremendous things to that park. We put a fence to stop the graffiti and the vandalism of the park. The days I can get off of work, I go there, cut the grass. I'm there pretty much every day. That's probably my second home. My kids know him as their grandfather. It takes a lot to build a relationship with somebody from District 6 over the past few years, and to rezone that to District 5. That means we have to build another relationship with somebody and over the next few years, and hope that these kids get the same things that they got the past few years and not have to restart a whole new relationship over. The kids that are coming out of there, I think the gentleman mentioned it. It's brought to the others, right? My daughter had the chance last year to go to Louisiana and compete for the World Series. When we got there, nobody knew who Edgewood was. They were like, "Where's Edgewood?" "Oh, we're in San Antonio." "But where's Edgewood at in San Antonio?" Well, we made a statement and we came second runner-up in the Pony World Series. So they know now. And I know it takes a community to raise kids, and I think right now we have over 50, 60 teams that attend Edgewood, and we keep growing, and I think the relationship we built with our councilwoman in District 6 helps us a lot. Thank y'all for your time and effort, and y'all be safe.
Thank you. And I want to pause real quick. Miguel Sepulveda, are you on the line now? Okay, he emailed me saying that he was, so.
I'm on the line, yes.
Yes, all right. Miguel Sepulveda, present. Mr. Hector Santos, followed by Oscar Santos. And then after Oscar Santos, if Stephen Scholes would please join us. And a reminder to the public, please state your name and what district you live in before starting your comment. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Hector Santos, District 6. I am here again in front of you, committee members, to ask you to please consider keeping us in District 6. Excuse me. It means a lot to me, the things we do there at Edgewood Nonprofit Edgewood Youth Athletic Association. And over the years, I've been there 33 years. Like I said before, this councilwoman has really done a lot for us. And she understands the problems we've had with the city parks, because it is a city park that we lease and maintain. So by moving us, we would have to start from ground zero, because I believe Ms. Castillo, District 5, is a tremendous person also. She just got elected, so she doesn't know us from anybody else. And I understand that she has other projects that she needs to take care of. But if you could please just leave us. I asked you the first few times I came to, I'm asking you, now I'm pleading with you to please keep us in District 6. Thank you.
Oscar Santos. Name and district.
Good evening. My name is Oscar Santos. I live in District 5. I've been in District 5 for a long, long time. I'm going to point out some things that I think we sometimes get narrow focused in. Our redistricting is shooting for a deviation of less than 10%, so that the council districts all have approximately the same number of people. But you know, that's not all of it. That's not all. It's not just a number game. Right here, if you look on the requirements that each of you have, right there where it says plans should not have the effect of, look that over, okay? Why do I say that? Because as a population, and I'll go over to the next slide, please. The next slide. You guys have seen this, the initial and plan 1. We are at 60 Hispanics, 63%. All right? So why is it that District 5 has over 91% and we haven't done one thing to correct that? You guys are the generals. Ask for more plans out there so you can pick and choose, and let's get this spread out evenly. I'm not asking that District 5 go from a 91 back to a 63. That's not what I'm asking. But let's not ignore what we are here to do. We need to treat people as people, not just as a hit count. City staff can give you more iterations of that map. You ask and they shall deliver. Then you have a choice of picking those other elements that we mentioned before. But look at it here. District 5, over 91%. From initial to the first draft, we moved 0.05%. That's all. Why aren't we considering our people? It's part of the requirements, but we seem to ignore it. Why? Because maybe it's too much work. But darn it, that's what we're supposed to do. Do what's best for the city. District 5, I encourage you to look at ways to do that. I've said enough, but let me turn the last one here. This is a map that you also have. If you look at it, districts 3, 4, and 5 all have over 80%. The staff stopped at 60%. But if you go to 70, 80, 90, 5 has 90, 3 and 4 have over 80%. And yet we're just kind of, let's ignore the big elephant in the room. Challenge yourself, please. Let's make it San Antonio a city to be proud of everybody. Thank you for your time.
Next is Steve Scales, followed by Ana Ramirez, and then Riley Wood.
Hi, everybody. I support the city's current map to include Breckenridge Park be placed within District 1. The Redistricting Advisory Task Force, the general legal requirement priority considerations directed the task force to consider plans should try to use easily identifiable geographic boundaries that should be followed. River Road Neighborhood Association geographic boundaries are clearly marked on the COSA Neighborhood Association map to support the city's recommendation to place Breckenridge Park entirely in District 1. Thank you.
Mr. Ramirez. Name and district, please.
Good afternoon. I'm Ana Ramirez, and I am a resident of the River Road Neighborhood Association. The Redistricting Advisory Task Force, General Legal Requirements Priority Considerations direct that communities of interest should be maintained in a single council member district where practicable, and attempts should be made to avoid splitting neighborhoods. As you've noticed on the map here, our neighborhood is not just boundaried by park areas. It's enveloped. We are enveloped by the park. It is Breckenridge Park, granted the larger park, and then the theater, and then the river, and you've got your the parks on both sides of the river, of course, and then the golf course all the way around it. So we're totally enveloped by the park. And I would venture to say that we're the only community in San Antonio that is totally enveloped by a park. Yet, that is being represented by District 2. We would like to maintain the entire neighborhood in District 1. We ask for your consideration for this. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Wood, followed by Roy Schwiers. Mr. Schwiers, if you want to join us up front.
Thank you.
Good evening, committee members. My name is Raleigh Wood. I live at 109 Lindell Place in the River Road neighborhood in District 1. And I would like to express my support for the city's proposed map that includes placing all of Brackenridge Park in District 1. Based on the Redistricting Advisory Task Force instructions, considerations for redrawing boundaries, maintaining communities of interest, such as established neighborhoods, is a major directive and should be followed. I'd like you to know that the River Road neighborhood is a long-established neighborhood whose neighborhood associations articles of incorporation were submitted to the Office of the Secretary of the State of Texas in 1977 by Philip D. Hardberger, Linda Hardberger, and Lanny Sinkin, who were the incorporators. So it makes it a little bit older, 45 years old. The neighborhood has a longstanding expressed interest in supporting and maintaining the well-being of the park and the river which surround the neighborhood. Again, I support Brackenridge Park being included in District 1, and thank you all for your consideration.
Thank you. Roy Schwiers, followed by Donna Martin, and then Ed Piner and Darla Piner. Name and district, please.
Roy Swears, District 1. I live in River Road, and I too support the committee's recommendation to move all of Brackenridge Park into District 1. The area currently in District 2 separates the park in half. Half of it in District 2 north of Mulberry, and half of it in District 1 south of Mulberry, where we live. The area proposed to be moved is geographically bounded as part of the San Antonio River Valley. It's the precinct that's being proposed to be moved from District 2 to District 1 is bounded by Mulberry to the south, Broadway to the east, Almas Dam to the north, and the highway to the west. This area is part of the San Antonio River Valley and should be part of the rest of the valley and the rest of the park in the south. There's very few residents in this precinct. The only residents are on campus in Current Word, and so it's not going to move the population any significantly between the districts. So the only consideration is really to make it geographically part of the rest of the valley as it has been in the past. Thank you for your work and moving this precinct back into District 1 where it should be, where it belongs. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Donna Rice Martin, and I am from the River Road area and in District 1. I support the city's current map to include Brackenridge Park be placed within District 1. The Redistricting Advisory Task Force General Legal Requirements / Priority Considerations directed the task force that plan should take into consideration the wide array of community assets that enrich their district, neighborhoods, and the city of San Antonio. The last portion of the San Antonio River left in its natural state is inside the city limits. Inside the city limits begins at the northern border of Brackenridge Park and ends at the southern boundary of the River Road neighborhood. This area also includes the historic acequias, the beautiful native flora and fauna, and both low water crossings. One of those is at the end of my block. The same stretch is an international birding destination, drawing visitors with binoculars and phones to log and document their sightings in this natural area. And they are there. Every time I take a walk, there's somebody there enjoying it. This is the waterway that defined the development of the River Road neighborhood and eventually the city of San Antonio. Once again, please include Brackenridge Park to be placed within District 1. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Ed Piner. I'm speaking for myself and my wife Darla. We live in the River Road neighborhood at 143 Magnolia Drive. You might be surprised that both of us would appreciate Breckenridge Park being included entirely in District 1. Big surprise. It's my understanding that the general legal requirements that the district should be compact and composed of continuous territory seems to endorse the current proposed districting. So keeping that in mind, we appreciate your service, your work, and the consideration of following those guidelines. Thank you so much.
Is Darla going to speak? Okay. Next speakers are Herlin Pineda. There we go. Lucy Wilson. Lucy Wilson, are you here? Yeah. And then Lucy, you're followed by Barbara Whithowell. And please start with your name and district. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Herlin Pineda, and I'm here to represent, to keep Guayard Park in District 6. And really, I'm here for the children that use that park. That's really what I'm here for, because I've seen the parents that volunteer to help these kids. Just outpouring of love, and that's just something was very important to me. I'm sure, and when you think of your kids, to me, it's everything. Well, again, I just want to say, Guayard Park, keep that oasis, Guayard Park, in District 6. Thank you for your time.
Please start with your name and district, please.
My name is Lucy Wilson. I live in the River Road Historic Neighborhood District at 130 Magnolia Drive. When I moved into the neighborhood 4.5 years ago, I thought, how cool. I'm going to be living across the street from Breckenridge Park. I was totally naive to the very special and committed relationship that this neighborhood maintains with the park. In essence, as you've been told tonight, we are living in the park. Currently, a large part of Breckenridge Park is in District 1. This includes the golf course, Lions Field, Avenue A, and River Road, the road. The new boundaries being recommended for District 1 would include all of Breckenridge Park in District 1. This meets the priority consideration of easily identifiable geographic boundaries, as well as keeping communities of interest in a single council district. When River Road was incorporated in 1977, one of the purposes identified was to encourage preservation of the distinctive heritage of the neighborhood and the surrounding parkland, which is Breckenridge Park. We were to educate others with knowledge of the value found in protecting parklands and wholesome urban neighborhoods, and to do our part to enhance that same. I believe the recommended configuration for District 1 helps us fulfill these purposes as a neighborhood and meets the criteria that guides the redistricting process. Therefore, I fully support this recommendation, and I thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much. Next will be Barbara Whithowell, followed by Mike Cormans. Mr. Javier Gutierrez is giving time to Mr. Cormans. And then finally, apologize, Irma De Leon.
Well, I like this music behind me. My name is Barbara Whithowell, and I'm a resident of District 1. And I support the city's current map to include Breckenridge Park be placed within District 1. The Redistricting Advisory Committee's general legal requirements, priority considerations direct that the committee or task force may consider the residents of incumbents within their district and their history in representing certain areas. The River Road Neighborhood Association, Articles of Incorporation of the River Road Neighborhood Association, Article 4 states that the River Road Neighborhood Association shall encourage the preservation of the distinctive heritage of the neighborhood and the surrounding parkland that is Brackenridge Park. A municipal park, it will educate the public with the knowledge of the values to be derived from the protection of parklands in wholesome environments in neighborhoods throughout the city, and will actively support efforts to protect and enhance such neighborhoods and parkland environments. Articles of Amendment to the Articles of Incorporation of the River Road Association, that was in 1984. So as you've heard, 1977 is when we first became a 501c3 nonprofit as a neighborhood association. This was the amendment in 1984. So I just wanted to ask you, please, to support the city's current map to include Brackenridge Park be placed within District 1. And thank you so much.
Mr. Cormans? Name and district, please.
My name is Michael Cormans. I live in District 7, but my business is in District 6. So I spend a lot of time out here, and I've got to know the people out here. I've been on the highway for 46 years, along with a lot of other businesses that have been on here for 70, 65 plus years. We're a pretty tight-knit family, mom and pop businesses. You don't find any big box stores on Old Highway 90. We just got through accomplishing getting the name back to Old Highway 90. And we find ourselves now in another battle where District 6 is being split up halfway, half of it in 5 and half of it in 6. And I've been to several of these meetings, and I just feel like people from the district, like say from District 6, should have a say-so on what they should keep and what they should not really want to get rid of anything, but have a little bit more say-so on what they want to keep. Along with other districts. Every district has this historic area or a community or something that they want to hold on to, and it's evident up here from what we hear. Our District 6 inside Loop 410 is very unique. It's kind of old-fashioned. You guys drove out here, you see it. I mean, it's not anything modern, and we like it that way. We're very tight-knit, like I said. Some of the businesses out here, like De La Garza Fence, have been out here for 70 years. Aguilera, 65 years. Golden Nugget, way down at the other end of where the Highway 90 starts down there, has been there for 40 years. Danny's Cocinas and Roy's Tacos, 40 years plus. And it's not just the businesses. The businesses are here because the community supports us. So we support them, and that's how it works out here. We ask you to please put it back. I know that they showed the map. I had asked earlier for the map to be put up here. They split up half of Highway 90, but if you look at these maps, a lot of these bigger districts, it's kind of like pie-shaped. Some of them at the inner cities, they come out this way. There's a lot of growth this way, same way this way, and everything. 6 does the same thing. 5 being in here in the middle, it's a horror story right now. In 10 years from now, it's going to be again, but it should be able to start growing out this way or growing out somewhere where it's easier for us 10 years down the road to do this. It's hard enough right now. You can imagine what it's going to be 10 years from now. We'd like to keep all of the Highway 90 back to the way it was before they split it up. We want to go back to keeping Old Highway 90 intact. We'd like to keep the Edgewood Youth Athletic Association. I mean, you guys have heard tonight how important it is to the community. We'd like to keep the Cuellar Park because that's where they play. Inside District 6, that is just basically our only park that we have for District 6. We have Rodriguez up here, but that's a county park. But inside D6, that's our go-to park. We're even looking at maybe getting some pavilions out there and stuff. So if anything, I know you all have split up Los Jardines, which is our community out here. If there's a way to, split up just half of it where we can maintain the majority of it and keep all of the area around Highway 90 intact, that would be something that I'd like to ask everybody to help us out with that. We know that districts have to grow, and D5 is our neighbor, and they do need to get within 10% voting representation. We're in agreement with that. But we just ask you to just put our Highway 90 back together intact and keep us all together. We just all came together when 2015 when they changed the name. We've been working at it since then. It's been 7 years, and we all came together and bonded, and now to split us up kind of hurts us. You know, we all want to stay intact, and we're proud of the old Highway 90, and just ask that you help us. And I know you all have tough decisions to make, and lines have to be drawn, but just consider, especially like what you heard from this gentleman over here with the Edgewood Youth Athletic Association. It's very important to the families out here. And we got a lot of young kids out here, and so a lot of good people coming out of it. And that's a story up there that proved itself. That gentleman over there with his, calling his Mr. Santos, his father. And we got a lot of stories like that too. So thank you all very much. And just please consider keeping Old Highway 90 intact. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Irma de Leon. I'm with District 6, and I appreciate everything that that gentleman just said. So those are things that I'm not even going to repeat again, but thank you. Oh, excuse me 1 second. I am a resident and one of the founding members of Los Jardines Neighborhood Association in District 6. I know that I not only live in District 6 or have lived in District 6 most of my life, but I have also worked in the district for over 20 years. We are a very established community and active neighborhood association. Over the years, since having established the association in 2003, we have addressed many issues and accomplished many neighborhood goals. We have developed relationships with our community, district representatives, and stakeholders in our current district. This does not happen overnight and without a lot of commitment from our residents and the Los Jardines members. This is one of the specific factors to be considered. In addition, version 1 of this map breaks up 2 voting precincts, 2043 and 2019. We do propose one possible framework solution. District 7 has approximately 5,000 people that can be placed in District 5, while allowing District 5 to return population back to District 6, which should balance out the numbers within 10% deviation and allow for District 5 to grow and District 6 to gain back population. Currently, District 6 cannot lose any more population and is in a negative deviation and below ideal size. I respectfully ask that the committee strongly look into the proposed solution and that our full neighborhood association boundaries remain in District 6 to include Cuellar Park and the Edgewood Fine Arts Academy. Thank you.
And that concludes public comment.
Okay, we would like to thank those individuals who submitted comments to us this evening, and also the individuals who provided their comments here this evening. Thank you very much, and we'll continue then with the rest of the agenda.
The next item on today's agenda is discussion and possible action on the development of redistricting plans, including a map drawing session. We recognize that there are a couple of districts that have some discussions and some issues to bring to the table to us. And yes.
Microphone.
I have it.
No, it's fine. I got 2.
Jordan Gowie, District 1. May I be recognized, Madam Chair, for a 1-minute point of personal privilege?
1 minute point of personal privilege granted.
Thank you. So I usually stay up pretty late at night researching some policy stuff. And the other day, I stumbled across an article that says UTSA professor appointed to Census Scientific Advisory Committee. So there is a 21-member board appointed by the Census Bureau. And one of those members happens to be our very own co-chair, Dr. Rogelio Saenz. So we have a nationally recognized member of this committee who is now on the Census Bureau, so as their scientific committee. So I just wanted to recognize Dr. Saenz and give him a quick round of applause.
Thank you, Jordan. You saw it in my eyes. I did. I did. So, Tony, do you have something to say, or you're just waiting for me? Okay. So I think we'll start at the top with District 1 and District 2, and we will allow you to speak to your issues before this committee.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair and Co-Chair. My name is, for the record, my name is Dwayne Robinson. I'm the representative, or one of the representatives for D2. After listening to all of this hearty discussion about the Brackenridge Park, I've got a couple things I want to say. Firstly, I just want to remind the group that for the most part, all of the city assets have not changed. This would be the only one that is being proposed to change, with splitting or taking back, let me say it this way, precincts 3207 and 3178. Before we started the map drawing sessions whatsoever, those are the two that were in District 2. We would like to have those two precincts remain in District 2. I've been listening to all of the comments from the folks primarily from D1 and the River Road Neighborhood Association, and I'm still of the opinion that Brackenridge Park is essential also to District 2. And I think it is in the best interest of District 2 for precincts 3207 and 3178 to go back into D2. This conversation has been going on back and forth between the representatives on this body from District 1 and District 2. And it doesn't seem like we can come to a general consensus, but D2 stands strong in requesting that those two precincts go back into D2. Again, it's District 2, we're looking at the only one that's having this issue with our assets.
Jordan Gowie, D1. So to Dwayne's point, we have talked and we can't come to consensus on this. And as we've used before in this committee, we've asked this committee to be the independent arbitrator when two parties can't come to consensus. Today, we did hear from 18 people for maintaining the map as presented and 0 against. We do believe that it follows the community principles. It has been present on the map as is for about 6 weeks. Again, we're not going to die on this hill. Us D1, but we do ask that the committee take this up for a vote and vote your interest on it. A motion to maintain the D1 boundaries as presented in the committee draft plan 1.
Second. There's a motion and a second to maintain 3207 and 3178 in D1 as it is presented on the committee draft. Do we have discussion on that?
Shelley has a question.
So how many people are in that area? It was stated today by somebody that there are very few residents there. How many people are there?
Approximately 467, I believe. Can you double check that, please, Sherry? For what? 416 people, residents are in those
can we
two
d-
precincts, 3178 and 3207.
Can we provide residents and then registered voters as well? If we're,
Do we have any other information about the two precincts?
Madam Chair, I know some of them belong to the Incarnate Word, this is Rebecca Viagran, the Incarnate Word, the senior living facility there on the campus of Incarnate Word.
Give us just a minute. We're going to look at that real quick.
while they're looking for those numbers, are there any other comments from members of the committee?
Are there any other neighborhood associations in there other than the River Road Neighborhood Association?
We'll check that
That's
too.
that's the magic map question.
Are there any other neighborhood associations in those precincts? I don't believe so. But we're double checking.
Again, while we're waiting, are there any other comments? Are there any questions on what the issues are as it relates to Brackenridge Park? That when the map started, Brackenridge Park was in District 1 and District 2. There were discussions. There was a
And-
map.
And this change was not voted on. Isn't that correct? Correct.
No, this individual issue
Change was not voted
was not
on.
voted upon as an individual issue.
Correct.
It was included in a map that was voted on, but not this specific matter. No.
Correct.
Chair, for clarification, that map was unanimously approved?
So this is Shelley Potter. I have a question for you, Dwayne. You said that, well, through the chair, that it was essential to D2, that the park's essential to D2. Could you elaborate on that a little?
Yeah, there are a couple activities that take place, in particular over in Sucking Gardens, that is really important to the community. And that is by way of Taste of New Orleans. I see all of the folks here that have signed up to speak. At the end of the day, I guess the thought that crossed my mind is when you look at the population figure in District 2, and you look at the population figure in District 1, and if you voted on it, the District 2 residents have more residents in there in the population over D1. I'm not quite sure. Again, I'm not taking away from the community that has came out, the one neighborhood association in particular who has come out to speak, but that just doesn't weigh on me as much as the needs of all of the residents in District 2 who would like to have that park, a portion of that park and that asset remain in District 2.
We're waiting. Do we have all the numbers that we?
Sherry's
No,
still
we're waiting.
working on it.
I'm not trying to fill dead space here, but Dwayne, what is the event that is in Sunken Gardens?
Taste of New Orleans.
We have a question. But for the record, could you please state your name before you speak?
Amy Casterly, District 5. Is there any reason to think that that District 2 won't be able to have that event at Sunken Gardens if this plan is approved?
I would say yes. As we sit here today.
Sherry's coming up with 2 registered voters in that area, but I'm not sure.
No, in that area. Look at.
Oh, in the top portion.
Is 3204 in this or just this top portion?
The bottom portion, I mean, that's where River Road is.
So I know, Jordan, District 1, I know while we're trying to get this answered, just to clarify, this, when D1 first approached on this, we said this was to reunify Brackenridge Park. This was not about registered voters. So I'm not sure if that's pertinent to this discussion, but that's why we did this.
So the question was registered voters, and here's all of River Road, and there's just a little bit of section of the neighborhood, so there's only 2 registered voters in that area, in that little section. Yes, I'll dance.
Okay, so to restate the issues, we're talking about 2 registered voters. We're talking about a number of people under 500 people, but 2 registered voters. And the position from D1 is to reunify the park, and the position from D2 is to maintain a portion of the park in D2, or to maintain it as it was before this process started.
Yeah, and Jordan Gowie, again, my motion, just to be clear to the room, is that the boundaries of District 1 remain as presented in the committee draft plan 1, which is the draft plan in front of us today. Had a second by Teresa.
Okay. So we have a motion and are there any other comments? Okay, there's a pointing. You didn't mean that. Okay. So we have a motion and a second on the floor.
Okay.
Madam Chair, if
Yes.
If there is a vote, can we call out names individually?
Yeah, we will do a roll call vote.
You ready for a roll call?
We're
vote?
ready for a roll call.
Okay. The motion on the floor is a motion to maintain voter tabulation district 3178 and 3207 in District 1 as defined in Committee Draft Plan 1. District 1, Teresa Vargas Wyatt. Yay. District 1, Jordan Gowie. It's a yay. District 2, Dwayne Robinson. Nay. District 2, Devorah Frost. Nay. District 3, Rebecca Vigran. Yay. I'll say Frank, I don't think he's on the line, but District 3, Frank Garza. District 4, Eloy LeCue. Yay. District 4, Miguel Sepulveda.
Yay.
Yay. District 5, Vilma Pena. Yay. District 5, Amy Castelli. Abstain. District 6, Johnny Bañez. Yay. District 6, Luis Gomez by proxy. Yay. District 7, Lisa Marie Gomez. Yay. District 7, Francis Gonzalez. Yay. District 8, Laura Garza. Yay. District 8, John Kelly. District 9, Larry Lamborn. Yay. District 9, Hollis Grizzard. Abstain. District 10, John Clamp. Abstain. District 10, Carlton Souls. I'm sorry? Yay. Shelley Potter.
Yay.
Yay. Bonnie Prosser Elder.
Nay.
Nay. Dr. Rogelio Sines. One more time. Yay. Nay. Nay. Give me a second. 4, 3 abstentions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Motion passes with 14 yays, 4 nays, 3 abstentions.
We will move on to the next standing issue that we have, and that is related to Districts 5 and 6. And I will turn the microphone and time over to the representatives from District 5 and District 6.
Hello? Can we pull up our proposed map?
Sherry, do you happen to have the proposed map for? Yes, that one. Give us one moment. We're going to have them pull it up. Madam Chair, we got a question from Ms. Viagran.
In the Rebecca Viagran, District 3, in the public comments, somebody mentioned a framework that they had presented at a last meeting. Do we have that anywhere in our backup documentation? Do we know? No? Okay, that was my question.
There we go. Thank you.
Thank you. So our proposed map that we brought up on Friday starts at Marbuck, goes up to 34th Street, all the way up to Monterey, coming up to Ardmore Street, or Acme, to Commerce. We propose keeping Cuellar Park, all of the Community Workers Council, Edgewood Fine Arts. We would give up the far right and southern part of 2019. We realize that we can't keep everything. We have to give up something. And so this is what we are proposing. We do believe that we meet the criteria of the preservation of community interests. We meet it in the following priorities. The common political interests. We've had several community members talk about how they prefer the support of the current councilwoman in District 6 being part of District 6. This community that we are proposing, or proposal that we are proposing to keep, also speaks to the shared backgrounds, characteristics that are relevant to the representation, highlighting the social, cultural, and historical and partisan economic identity that keeps the compactness and continuity in that proposal that we are presenting. Since the inceptions of the associations, they have been in District 6. VDTs 2019, 2020, and part of 23 allow multiple organizations and communities to remain whole. Children that play at a baseball park in Cuellar Park, baseball in Cuellar Park, also live in the greater part of 2019 and 2020. The same children go to pre-K 4 SA in VDT 2020. They attend church and Edward ISD feeder schools. We also would be keeping the religious community together, the churches of Bethel United Methodist, Abundant Life Fellowship, and Macedonia Baptist Church. Please note that we would also be keeping the late community leader and former Edgewood board member, deacon and councilman Enrique M. Barrera family together. These criteria do meet the communities of interest. The neighborhood associations, Worker Council, and Los Jardines have constantly worked together to achieve goals such as the creation of the Elmo College WETC program. These community leaders in the neighborhood have worked tirelessly for decades to build a strong community foundation around education and civic engagement. It is also important to note that in 2017, when Old Highway 90 was given a cultural heritage district designation by the City of San Antonio's Office of Historic Preservation, it was not only given to the businesses, but to the neighborhoods that we're proposing to keep. So we believe we meet the criteria of the communities of interest. And this is the proposal that we are presenting to the community as a whole.
In our presentation,
oh, go ahead, Madam Chair. We have Mr. Ibanez wanting to follow
are
up.
you, Amy, were you gonna? I got you. I'm concerned with this, this approach, whoops, lost our map, is we knew full and well that we in District 6. But we're going to have to compromise, and some of the gentlemen have said that presented earlier that at least if you can cut that in half and get half of that population to District 6 and District 5, and this is what we've done. And as Sharon has so adequately stated, it keeps the communities of interest intact in District 6. And it helps District 5 pick up considerable amount of population. Now, what remains to be seen is how far off the map or the deviation, whatever, or the numbers are we? And this is for the map drawers, I guess now, the map makers, the magicians over there. Thank you.
This is Francis, District 7. Could we just have somebody tell us what those, which is the change, the purple, the green on the one that they put up? I wasn't clear what the streets
The one
were.
that they put up, it was the purple. Can we put that one back up again? I'm
And then
sorry,
can you
Eliana.
just go over the street names?
Sure, yes.
For further clarification, can you identify the break, what part is on 5 and what part is on 6? Because without the whole map, looking at it, it's
Yes.
hard to distinguish that.
Yes. So what Sherry's highlighting will be back in 6, based on the map that 6 presented. Oh, and so 6, you all identified several things, but can you also just identify the streets and why and how you did this? Francis is asking about that. So, so here's 34th Street. And so it's going this way. No. 34th Street down, and then where?
So it's Marbuck up to 34th Street, all the way up to Monterey, coming up to Ardmore Street, Acme to Commerce.
Does that help, Francis? Yes, ma'am. Thank y'all. Oh, that's a great idea. We're going to hand you the pointer, and maybe if you could help point here. Oh, we've transferred this to the main map, so if we can go back to that, and it has the streets in a little bit more detail. So Sherry, go ahead and switch. If we can switch to. Perfect, thank you, Sherry. Okay, so that's the northern part of the requested change. All the yellow highlighted part would go back into, now, I believe this part's already in on the proposed, but this part down here would be moved. And I'll let 6 go ahead and describe it in more detail. Do you have the microphone?
Where's Marbuck? Someone has quicker eyes than me to see Marbuck. Marbuck, I'm looking for Marbuck up to 34.
Oh, so Sherry, can you go a little further up? Yes, move the map north so we can see more of the southern part. Yes, it's a good idea.
I want to do
Touchscreen.
touchscreen. This is not touchscreen, right?
It's not touchscreen. There we go. Now we see the whole change.
I don't see Marbuck. I don't see Marbuck. Maybe my eyes are bad. Can you move it up? Marbuck. Marbuck up to 34th. And this street, this is not a good map.
Is this 34? This is 34, right? Okay, and then this is the edge.
Ellswood.
What's this?
But I'm looking for Marbuck down here. I need the map down here. There it is. So it's Marbuck, 34th.
Is that better for you guys?
Yeah, all the way to 34th Street.
Okay.
Yeah, Marbuck going up to 34th Street. See Marbuck all the way to 34th Street, all the way up to Monterey. I can't see the streets here. Further up, right? Oh, there's Monterey. This will be Monterey. Yeah, all the way to Ardmore. Acme Ardmore. This is not a good map. Acme Ardmore.
So do y'all want to describe that for the whole group so they could make sure they're following along?
So this is Marbuck. all the way up to 34th Street.
This is 34th Street here.
34th Street, and then it goes up to Monterey,
This is Monterey.
right? All the way to Acme to Commerce.
Because you're proposing that all of this chunk
Stay.
Stay in six.
Stay in 6.
You probably want to do that for the benefit of the committee.
This thing doesn't work?
It works.
Oh,
Should work. Is it not working?
oh, what did you do?
Press the red button.
Oh. So it's Marbach?
Okay, here we go. Go ahead.
Sorry, it's too far for me to see. Sorry, I don't have that young of eyes. So it's Marbach, 34th Street, all the way up to Monterey, coming to Ardmore Street / Acme. Oh, sorry, Acme would be to Commerce. So this all here. So Monterey all the way to Commerce Acme. Where's? You can move it a little bit up this way.
So that little corner up there, right there,
So all
would also have to be included because it's
Right.
not connected.
Right.
So Sherry, go ahead and highlight that little triangle on the, yes, go ahead, because that would have to connect because it'd be contiguous. Well, just for the,
Oh, it's 34th.
there we go.
34th up here, going this way. So it'd be this 34th Street, that's 36 you have here. So it's Marbach all the way to 34th Street up this way.
So what did you ask? I'm sorry, guys. You want to see it?
If you want to put the other one up.
So okay.
It's a question, Jordan Gowie, District 1. It's a question. Is this proposal agreeable to you? D5. I got to walk back there with the mic, I think.
We don't know what it is.
Well, we'd like to see the whole map. I guess it would, because right now I know that she was pointing it out, but it would be good for, because they're keeping 2020, right? So it should be all up there so that everyone can see what it looks like.
So you want to zoom? Yep.
I'm just saying because they're keeping 2020, right? So we need to, so the yellow is what is being given to D5?
Here we go.
No?
So
Okay. I'm sorry, D5, Velma Pena.
is that part they want, that's highlighted, they want back in 6. And the purple line right here shows that right now, that's where the redistricting committee and all this purple line had put it into 5. So in this part, actually is already in 6. So it's really here. Does that make sense?
No.
Doesn't make sense? Well, I mean, what they're proposing, not that. Okay. Okay. So that's the section that they're asking to go back into 6. Everything that's been highlighted right there.
Okay. So is everyone clear on what D6 has put on the table?
Just population.
Teresa Wyatt, District 1. How many people are we talking about?
Sherry, about 2,000? About 2,000 people.
Okay.
Amy has a
So
question.
what does that do to our overall balance or lack of balance?
It keeps us in balance. So go ahead and officially move it into 6. Is that what you want to see, Amy?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay,
that's
go ahead and officially move it in. That way we could show the numbers.
If you look in the upper right corner in the blue area, you'll see the overall deviation. And just to the right of it, the two districts that drive that are districts 1 and 8. This particular shift of population was not large enough to make either District 5 or District 6 one of the total deviation outliers that drive that total deviation.
Okay, there are two things. You know, we've not wanted to divide neighborhood associations, and we've heard about that, but that little between Acme and the highway on the left-hand side of that little area, that little strip right there is part of the Community Workers Council, and I don't see why we would need to split that neighborhood association as well as Los Jardines. So it's just a point.
An observation.
If I can answer, there has been precedent for neighborhood associations being divided. Thunderwood Hills Neighborhood Association is split between D6, D7. That's VDT 2050 and 2049. Roosevelt Neighborhood Association is also split between D5 and D3 VDTs 1010, 40, 48. D5 has also split West End, Hope between D5, D1, VDTs 2004, 2150, or 2105, I'm sorry. Harmony Hills is also neighborhood association divided, as well as Lackland Terrace. So there has been precedent for
Chair.
neighborhood associations being divided.
Chair, I have a question.
Yes, I think the question that has been asked is their agreement between this proposal between D5 and D6. So Amy or Velma, if you want to provide any feedback or conversation as it relates to that.
Okay, going back to April the 4th, it was 17-0. It was a unanimous vote to keep it the way it is, right, the way the draft plan looks right now, the draft plan 1. So we had asked, we came to an agreement that we were going to, that we were happy with that and we were going to stay with that.
So Jordan, I have a follow-up
Oh,
question.
and Velma from D5, yeah.
We have found a third mic, George.
Yeah, it's been in my back pocket. Jordan Gowie, D1. I've slept since April 4th, but I believe this is the day that we said, y'all need to figure your stuff out. You guys went to a side room, and then, is this the right day? So y'all went to a side room, y'all came out, y'all being 5 and 6. Y'all came out, put this up, and then the entire group voted 17-0 on this? Can we, I get that you guys are saying yes, can we get confirmation from the city attorney?
Yeah, that's correct.
So what's changed?
So as I understand, we can just bring we can leave it up to vote as a whole, as you had mentioned in a prior situation. So that's what we are presenting here.
I'm asking what changed between April 4th, when 5 and 6 came to agreement on what's up there, to now where the agreement is no longer present.
I think something that changed, I'm sorry, is the fact that we listened to a whole lot of community people from Los Jardines, and I wish that I could say that all of the Jardines is going to go into District 6, but we had to compromise. We had to draw the line somewhere, and I listened hard and clear, and I had a change of heart from that vote that I took of 17-0. And now, my proposal, or our proposal, not just mine, is contrary to what 5 wants, but this is what's on the table. This is our plan. This is our effort to try to come to a consensus and a conclusion to this whole matter so that we can move on and get a vote and get it out of the way.
Shelley Potter. So I was here, I voted that day too. I would say what's changed for me is also listening to the community, just like we had a lot of people from River Road here tonight who expressed their opinion about the current situation with the map. We've had a lot of people from Los Jardines. We've had a lot of people from the old Highway 90 business folks come in, and we've had the people from the Edgewood Sports Association. We had people before, and I had expressed early on my concern about the impact on the Edgewood STEM Academy, because I know how important those relationships are with city council people. So for me, that's part of what has changed.
Ms. Villagrán, Jordan, give up the mic. Yes.
Out of his hands. Rebecca Villagrán, District 3. I think for myself, that is what's changed my perspective too from that day. I want to thank Mr. Estrada and Mr. Mesa and Mr. Santos and everyone who came and shared their perspective and how important it is to work with your council member, and even coming with the understanding that they know that Los Jardines is going to have to give a little bit with Districts 5 and District 6. And I think when you're doing a great service to your community, to step up and to speak up, to fight for Cuellar Park, to fight for your community. And thank you as well for bringing up the point of Old Highway 90 and the designation that you had with the legacy businesses that are in here. And this does then unify, or at least bring Old Highway 90 back together again too. So that is what has changed my perspective. And to see that we are still giving, that we are still not giving, that we are still balancing the population, that we are still having good representation for District 5 and District 6. I think that's what's been telling for me here. Thank you.
Yes, do you have a mic? Oh, I have a mic.
In light of the fact that this plan has been presented by District 6 representatives, I'd like to make a motion that we vote on the plan that has been forwarded tonight here by District 6 as presented.
Second, if I can.
We have a motion.
There was a second by the
Yeah, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any
Yes.
comments?
the second was, the motion was by District 6 and the second was by District 6. Yes.
Yes. Amy?
I do want to take this opportunity to speak to a process point, and that is in answer to the question of what's changed. What's really changed is, as we saw at our last couple of meetings, staff from the council person has stepped in and appointed a new representative from District 6 and really structured a change in District 6's position. We've been negotiating for a long time, as you all know, and we're trying to be really patient and accommodating. But I think it's important to take note that that we haven't succeeded in separating this process from the council itself, and I hope that we can get closer to that next time around. That's really what's changed, and it's happened in a couple of instances when the council person has stepped in to change the conversation that goes on here. So I oppose the motion really for that reason, as well as the fact that we're dividing a neighborhood, and even if it's been done before, we ought not to be doing it.
Can we call for the question?
Not until I am assured that there are not other comments.
Sorry, Madam Chair.
Okay. Are there any other comments regarding this matter?
Just a simple question. Jordan Gowie, D1. I feel like Bob Barker. Jordan Gowie, D1. Did y'all meet? I thought the last time we talked in this room that the two districts were going to meet outside of the room with the city attorney or the chairs.
We were shown at the meeting that drawing. We've never gotten a copy of it, so we didn't know what the roads were. But yes, we had a meeting last Friday.
Friday.
Okay.
We didn't reach any agreement.
Both co-chairs were there, as well as the city attorney.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second on the floor. I think we are prepared at this time to call for the question, and we will do a roll call vote as we have done in previous votes. So if you would please restate the motion, and then we will have a roll call vote.
Motion on the floor is to modify committee draft plan 1 as presented in the District 6 proposal dividing voter tabulation districts 2019 and 2043. Pointed those out because I can't figure out a way to word it that defines the roads. Motion presented by Johnny Ibanez. Second, Sharon Ramirez, proxy, Luis Gomez. And District 1, Teresa Vargas Wyatt. Nay. District 1, Jordan Gowie. Nay. District 2, Dwayne Robinson. Nay. District 2, Deborah Frost. Nay. District 3, Rebecca Villagran. Yay. District 3, Frank Garza. District 4, Eloy LaCue. See here. Oh. Yay. District 4, Miguel Sepulveda.
Nay.
Nay. District 4, Eloy LaCue. Nay. District 5, Elma Pena. Nay. District 5, Amy Castelli. Nay. District 6, Johnny Ibanez. Yay. District 6, Luis Gomez by proxy. Yay. District 7, Lisa Marie Gomez. Yay. District 7, Francis Gonzalez. Nay. District 8, Laura Garza. Yay. District 8, John Kelly. District 9, Larry Lamborn. Abstain. Remember how to spell abstain. District 9, Hollis Grizzard. Yay. District 10, John Clamp. Yay. District 10, Carlton Souls. Yay. Shelley Potter.
Yay.
Yay. Bonnie Prosser Elder.
Nay.
Nay. Dr. Rogelio Sines. Nay. Motion fails. I have 11 nays, 9 yays, and an abstention.
So Sherry, if you could put back. Yes. There we go. So now we're back to what was approved prior. Okay. We have a question from Jordan, District 1.
Yes, it sounded like horses a while ago, so at least it's a little bit better. I'd like to make a motion. We have a plan in front of us that was done by a deliberative body that was altered with public input, that followed committee protocols, guidelines, principles, per the attorneys outside and internal from federal lawsuit. I'd like to propose that this committee draft plan 1 move to committee final plan with contingency that Sid and his team do the required cleanup. And I'd like to see if we can do that cleanup in the room.
You made your motion? I second.
Motion and a second on the floor.
Who made the second? I'm sorry. Oh, Velma.
Velma.
Okay.
There's a motion and a second on the floor to transition this committee draft plan 1 into the final map. I'm paraphrasing just so we can be clear on kind of what's happening with Jordan's motion. So do we have any comments on our discussion on the motion that's on the floor? Yes. Carlton, we need a.
Carry like an Olympic torch.
I guess before we move forward with that, is there any other changes or things that anybody wants to bring up? In other words, that would be my question to the group is, before we finalize this, is that all there is? Is there anything else?
That's where this discussion point would.
Because I might have one, but go ahead.
Shelley Potter. So I have one that I brought up last time and maybe the time before that. And I know, Hollis, I know some of you told me that you had looked at this. Mr. Fonseca has come before us a couple of times and I think has made a very, very compelling argument for the concern that he has about 2060 and 2028 from the Maverick Neighborhood Association. Both the fact that they have been flip-flopped. I think when we looked at it, it's been 3 different times. And the fact that even though technically they're contiguous, because of that little triangle that's there that really separates them because of it being industrial and business area, really separates them basically from the rest of the district. I really would love to see if there's any way to make an adjustment in that. I know Hollis and a couple people told me that they had really tried to look at that and see if they could figure anything out. But I did want to put that back on people's minds because I really feel like it's one of the most compelling cases we've heard for not making a change.
So, Madam Chair, with that in mind, we probably should put the motion aside for a second until we look at that.
I think we have the ability to look at that
During
based
this-
on the motion that's
okay.
on the floor. It's discussion on finalizing this map. So can someone add some clarity to the question or issue that's on the floor?
So we're talking about, I believe, 2060 and that little section up there, and that's Maverick Neighborhood Association. And that currently they're in 7, but we moved them to 1, and that's the issue.
And if you show the one that you showed last time that has the sort of the topography.
Oh, the satellite vision.
Yeah, the satellite view really shows the.
Yes, it showed how that area is all neighborhood, and then north, that's all. There's the old mall, Crossroads, I believe, and that area.
Plus the fact that they've been flip-flopped 3 times.
Correct. Thank you, Sherry. So, does that help, Shelley? Okay. So you'd like for us to, or you'd like the committee to consider moving that back?
I mean, I don't know what all the options are, and I'm not going to try and speak for any of the districts that are here. Hollis said that they have looked at it, and tried to figure out a way around, to address it. But I just want to make sure we've done our due diligence on it because it's a big concern to me.
Okay. So Sherry's going to give us some data in terms of what that might look like if that were to be moved back. I believe so.
I think it was.
All right, Tony, there are 2,911
It's
people
1 in
there.
7. Yes, ma'am.
So
Go ahead, Sid.
There are 2,911 people in there, and if you move them from one, you increase one's level of underpopulation. You can see we're already at 9.5. Sorry, 2,991 people, so almost 3,000 people.
So let's go ahead and see what that would look like. Let's go ahead and move it, just so we know exactly what we're talking about.
Okay, so the deviation goes to almost 13%.
if I could just speak, Madam Co-Chair, they were in 7, but we wanted to get back into the proper numbers and percentages on this map, and that's when the decision with District 1 was to move it because we needed to get back in compliance with the numbers.
Go ahead and move it back.
That was the last, piece that was moved. So, I mean, we had it in our plan, but we were trying to support getting to a balanced map, and that's when that last piece moved.
Hollis Grizzard, District 9. Sid might be able to shed some light on this, but I do know that his team and several representatives, 10-2, 9, and 1, spent 2.5 hours, maybe not that long, 2 hours, on a webinar looking for extra, for population to move to 1. And every time we took a precinct and moved it into 1, it either ripped a neighborhood in 2 or presented many other problems. We struggled with this for 2 hours, and I wish there was some way to solve it and put that precinct back where it was originally. We couldn't find one. We couldn't find one. And the difficult part of this, one of the difficult parts is trying to, for me anyway, trying to minister to the needs of every neighborhood that's going to have some disruption by this plan. I wish I could fix that, but if I could find another precinct that would not harm another district here, I would have certainly brought it up 2 meetings ago, or a meeting ago.
And Madam Chair, if I could.
Yes.
Yes, so Hollis is correct. We did spend some time, significant time, looking to address the population issue in District 1 with also analyzing the data regarding the makeup of District 1 and not affecting that significantly because we want to be careful with that. And as you know, it is being affected a little bit, but we believe we're good with where we're at. So we did explore a lot of areas around 1, and it's just tough. It was a very difficult challenge. And I'm not sure if Sid has any other follow-up on that. Yeah, so that's kind of where we looked at. But yes, ma'am, she has a question.
So part of why I wanted to bring it up is because, thank you, Hollis. I thought it was important for everybody to hear what you just said, and for folks who are here in the audience to know that there were attempts that you worked at that, you looked at that, tried to find a way to figure it out. And the one other thing I want to mention, and it's not necessarily directly about the motion, but anything that we can do as a committee as we move things forward, and it was mentioned at the council meeting, but I think we need to stress it too, that there needs to be a very strong transition plan in place. We've got lots of comments that help us know where those particular points are, that those transition plans need to be made, and anything we can do as a committee to help further that, I think is important.
Absolutely.
No, I do think it was important, and thank you for bringing that up, because there are things that happen where it's not really clear of all of the additional effort that has gone into the creation of this masterpiece map by the committees on the side, the additional meetings, the discussions. Some of that happens. It comes back here, but a lot of that happens where it's not necessarily visible until it gets here, and then it looks easy because it happened in a few minutes. But I mean, Hollis, like you said, a little time was spent on that, and it was looked at. So thank you for making sure that we're able to discuss that. Are there any other comments? I'm not ignoring you, Carlton. Just want to.
You sure?
Okay, so Mr. Schultz.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair, and thank you, committee. We've got one minor thing we want to take a look at. This is new to the committee, but not necessarily new to District 9 and 10 that have had multiple discussions on it. Could you bring up the airport precinct, please?
That's the southern part of 9 and 10. I'll show you. Having some internet issues. Give us a second, just making sure we have our connection so we don't lose anything.
So while we're waiting for that to come up, can you expound upon what the issue concern?
Well, we do want to talk about it from an not a population perspective, but an asset perspective. The airport, if you look at the runways, District 10, going back to John and myself, actually all the councilmen as far back as I can remember, the airport affects and impacts our neighborhoods directly. We have two, both to the north and the south, the major runways that fly directly over us. So for years, we've been dealing with noise abatement issues. John and I dealt with, how do we do the abatements? How do we do flight patterns? In other words, District 10 is always impacted in dealing with airport issues. So that brought about a discussion. We still have technical issues with District 9 that they were gracious enough to indulge us in our discussions, but then they asked that we don't have this discussion until after the bigger issues of the committee had been solved, particularly with Harmony Hills and some of the more controversial things. What we wanted to do, and what we still want to do, is split the airport precinct. There is only about 100 people population, probably less than that. And the thought process is with this critical asset that dramatically impacts District 10, that, and Councilman Villagran would understand this, sometimes the answer you get when you have to deal with certain government entities is it's not in your district. And we've run across that. So the thought is by putting two sets of council eyes on this asset and getting a better seat at the table, we'll be able to better represent the people in District 10 that are most impacted by the airport and what goes on around it. So again, we've had conversations that seem favorable with the council people involved, and we just wanted to put it before the committee.
Can you clarify what you mean when you say flip council district?
Split the airport is essentially one precinct with no population bar, I think maybe 100 people.
3150.
Right. If you could point out
Precinct 3150.
Maybe go out or zoom out. You want to help me with this?
Oh, do we have that pointer? Here we go. This will help. Press the red button.
So here's runway.
Use the mic.
Here's runway John Clamp, District 10. So here's runway 13L. As you can see, that runway goes right into Oak Park Northwood neighborhood, some of Terrell Heights and Oakwell Farms. Tremendous amount of issues in terms of noise and noise maps and abatement challenges. Personally, I got my house redone in that district for $80,000, new windows, new everything. So it's a huge issue here. District 10. On 31 right, coming in from downtown area, you've got Northern Hills right here, District 10. So those neighborhoods are heavily impacted by the noise flight pattern. It's been ongoing since probably 30 years or more. It's getting better, but it's still a shared issue with District 9. So as you can see, there's very few people here. I don't know how many people are here, but it's always a District 9, District 10 issue. And I think what it does is, if the committee agrees, it allows District 9 and District 10 to work at a more elevated level together in solving those issues.
Anybody have any questions, comments? You guys appreciate all the nice conversations we've had.
Are y'all
Yes.
asking that it be divided or the whole thing go into,
What?
where?
Along,
Okay.
Yes, Hollis, please.
Hollis Grizzard, District 9. If we're, first of all, just a hypothetical question, if we're trying to split a precinct, is it not also supposed to be along easily identifiable boundaries?
Yes.
What would be an easily identifiable boundary in that precinct? So,
A runway? I mean, there are no geographical boundaries that I could see other than a runway.
could we ask
Sid.
Sid if you think that it would be, if there's an easily identifiable boundary there?
We haven't yet, so I think we're okay. But thank you for pointing out. We lost some folks. I just didn't realize they left.
The difficulty in part is the block structure. So she's highlighted one block.
So your answer, your official answer would be probably not?
Yes.
There's 2 blocks, right? Are there 2 blocks?
That's one block that's highlighted. There are a bunch of other little blocks, but the one that encapsulates the runways is essentially one block.
Then what we need is, all we need is a couple of blocks, right?
I think Larry is trying to make a comment, Hollis, next to you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Larry Lamborn, District 9. This looks like another quest for a shiny object, it seems to me. Now, Friday last, I had a pretty good conversation with our councilman, John Courage, and he and his counterpart, Mr. Clayton Perry from District 10, agreed to take this off the table. Now, true fact, we've not had a chance to talk with our counterparts from District 10 to apprise them of this, but we do not think that we should be discussing shiny objects and whether we are going to divide the airport along a runway. Thank you.
So I just want to make sure I understand, District 9 and District 10 has not met on this particular issue.
That is correct.
Okay, go ahead, Carlton. Absolutely.
Obviously, this is kind of news to us because we have had multiple discussions going back for more than 2 months with the specific request for District 9 not to bring this up until the Harmony Hills issue was put to bed, which we agreed to. So this is a surprise to me. I know I've been gone the last 2 weeks. I've been on vacation, but this, I'm kind of a little bit, what I don't understand is if something has changed why are we just now learning about it right now?
Ma-
Well, Clayton
Madam
seems to
Chair.
be, I mean,
Madam Chair, just a comment to my my former colleagues and my other colleagues. Just for this, airports belong to all of us.
Right.
The
right.
airport belongs to all of us. So I think right now we're so close to a finish line, and if we're looking at I don't know how many people, I would. The appetite to split this isn't necessarily in my wheelhouse right now.
Right.
Thank you.
I agree. Thank you. So we've talked about this look, I know this is difficult for the committee, but as part of our negotiations and part of our teamwork with District 9, this was always agreed upon. And we're kind of baffled why it's now off the table. So we haven't talked to, Courage. I don't know what's going on with those guys, but this is a simple, doable process to split the airport, to have a shared framework for District 9 and 10 going forward. So we would just ask that the committee consider this and that we look at it a little bit more closely.
Hollis Grisard, District 9. The discussions between 9 and 10 have taken place on an initial basis. There was discussion about that. That is accurate. There in totality between all four members, or all four representatives of 9 and 10. And we were operating under the presumption that this was going to be something that may eventually come up and be discussed. I'm sorry that Carlton was out of the country at the time. But since this time, in conferring with my colleague Larry and I, it was decided that we wish to hold on to the airport, stay the status quo. The flight patterns impact and affect many, including Larry and myself, by the way, many of the residents of District 9, and we would prefer to have a say in that. And I don't think that the geography allows us to split that district.
So
well, my final comment,
your
and then
final
we'll just
comment.
let it go. But suddenly, we're back to the council person is going to make this decision. So I guess the committee is not all that independent, because the argument that John and I put forth is reasonable because it impacts two council districts and it gets two sets of eyes on an asset that impacts two council districts primarily. It's not an unreasonable request. And we're dealing with airport issues. We'll continue for the next 20 years. But I thought we had an agreement. Apparently we do not. I guess the councilman interjected or changed his mind. And if he changed his mind, then I guess that's what makes the call here.
I want to take issue with raising the issue that the committee is not independent, notwithstanding what may or may not have occurred on this one particular issue on a map that's near final. So I want some clarity.
I
on that, or I'll
apologize.
just-
That is not the intent of what I said. What I meant to say is what District 9, the discussions we had obviously got overruled.
That didn't really clean that up for me, but I'm going to say that this committee has maintained a significant amount of independence, in my opinion. And I also want to say that if two representatives are good for the airport, then two representatives weren't good for Brackenridge Park. So if we're going to talk about consistency, then let's be consistent. And I hear you, Jordan, and your issue has already been resolved. And I would like to confirm that we still have a quorum before we take a vote on anything.
I'm on the phone. Teresa's here.
We have a quorum still. We have 14. Miguel, are you still on the phone?
We'll continue to confer with our District 9 colleagues.
We have 15,
I'm
16
on the
folks.
phone.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second on the floor, but before we vote, can we restate the motion so that everyone is clear what they would be voting upon?
Jordan's motion is that we approve the committee draft plan as the committee final plan.
Subject.
And the person on the
Tony.
line, if you could mute it or press star
Tony,
6.
Tony,
Yes,
I think the motion was approve it as the final draft plan, subject to cleanup.
Oh, yes. And while we're talking about cleanup, I think this would be a good time, Madam Chair, for Sid to give you guys a little summary. They've already done some homework ahead of time in anticipation. And if that's okay, can we do that, ma'am?
absolutely.
So Sid, if you could talk a little bit about what that looks like and what you're thinking here.
There are a limited number of areas where the 2022 election precincts don't perfectly match with VTDs, and we need to reconcile those. All but one of those are relatively innocuous, and I'll let Sherry describe the one that is not.
So there's a few areas that we think aren't too big of an issue, but this one.
Yeah, let's go through, I'm sorry, Sherry, let's go through each of them in order and end up with the harder one.
Wait, I'm a little concerned as it relates to the cleanup that we're going to lose a quorum before we get a vote.
Okay, so
I mean, the cleanup is a subject to, so any map that we would approve tonight
it's subject to
would
final
be
cleanup.
subject to anything, any
Okay.
cleanups, any.
Just to-
As long as nobody's leaving, because we do.
Ileana said, what?
Can we speak to the district or the area that this is?
Yes, this is District 4, Precinct 1139.
This area that's highlighted.
Oh, Sherry's going to.
Oh, yeah. This area that's highlighted is the original VTD from the Census Bureau of 1139. In 2022, Bexar County extended the precinct down to here. So this area here also is now 1139. So what, in essence, what happens is this entire area goes from 6 to 4. And it follows the new 2022 Bexar County election precincts.
Okay. And it doesn't disturb the balance of the map?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So,
You go flip over to District 4.
We're good with
I have
that.
a question.
okay, so we have a, Miguel, if you have a question.
Yes, I heard regarding the discussion there, is that what was referenced part because of cleanup?
Yes.
Can I gain some clarity?
Yes, that was a cleanup.
Okay, this was the original VTD that we were drawing with, and it was transferred by agreement from 6 to 4. When you compare that 2020 VTD with the new Bexar County election precincts, they enlarged that precinct to include the area to the south of it that she's now also highlighting. And so that change, transferring that election precinct from District 6 to District 4, would be larger because of the cleanup than it was in the original VTD structure.
Okay. And that does not put District 4 out of balance at any way or separate any neighborhood associations from in 6?
It does not put the plan out of balance. Remember that it's the overall plan deviation from most populous to least populous that matters. And those are, that deviation is being determined by the difference between District 1 and District 8. So this change doesn't affect that factor.
Unless they clean up their county.
Yeah. Yeah, this change does not split a neighborhood.
Miguel, it's one whole neighborhood, 1139.
Yeah, 1139 was one hole on the north part. What I see now highlighted in the cleanup is a separate neighborhood, which is El Sendero, separated by a street.
Correct.
And I believe these are not neighborhood association, but actually homeowner associations in whole. Okay. My only concern with this is of adding the second one is that I'm not sure there's been any discussion with 6 if there's been any impact to that HOA moving to 4. That's my only concern.
Point taken. I don't think 6 is here to comment. Are they?
Okay. Can you, forgive me, I'm on phone, but can you zoom this map I'm looking at through YouTube? I just want to ensure there's no additional HOAs that would be split here.
It appears to take El Sendero in whole. It's not dividing anything.
Okay. And that's a positive from a community perspective. Thank you. And I have no further concerns on this. I appreciate the input. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miguel.
Jordan asked, what would the option be? The option be we would have a split precinct based on the new. If we don't have to, yeah.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second on the floor. I have one member that has stepped out. We can take her vote last.
Okay.
If we want to move forward with the roll call vote on this matter.
The vote on the floor is approval of committee draft plan 1 as final proposed plan, subject to cleanup to reconcile new county voter precinct lines. First, motion presented by Jordan Gowie, second by Velma Pena. District 1, Teresa Vargas Wyatt.
Point of order, can we confirm this quorum one more time? I am sorry.
1, 2, 3, 4. So we have Miguel on the line. Teresa, are you still on the line? 13, 14, 14 with just those in the room. Do we still have those on the line? It got eerily quiet. Star 6, please. Yes, I'm getting a thumbs up that they are.
Are you
Oh, okay. We are at a quorum. We have an additional member just walking in.
okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Move forward.
Okay, all right. District 1?
This is Teresa. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yay.
Yay. District 1, Jordan Gowie. Yay. District 2, Dwayne Robinson. See here. I'm sorry, say that one more time. Yay. District 2, Devorah Frost. Yay. District 3, Rebecca Villagran. Nay. District 3, Frank Garza. District 4, Eloy LaQ. Yay. District 4, Miguel Sepulveda.
Yay.
Yay. District 5, Velma Pena. Yay. District 5, Amy Castelli. Yay. District 6, Johnny Ibanez. District 6, Luis Gomez by proxy. District 7, Lisa Marie Gomez. District 7, Francis Gonzalez. District 8, Laura Garza. Yay. District 8, John Kelly. District 9, Larry Lamborn. Yay. District 9, Hollis Grizzard. Yay. District 10, John Clamp. yay, I think. Yes, yay. I don't want to get that one wrong. District 10, Carlton Souls. Yay. Just keep my mouth quiet there. Shelley Potter.
Yay.
Yay. Bonnie Prosser Elder. Yay. Dr. Rogelio Sines. Yay. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 16 yays, 1 nay, and that means the motion passes.
Congratulations.
Do I just move immediately to updates? Get y'all out the door?
Yes, please.
Okay. Our next meeting is, we have 5 more meetings. No, I'm kidding. Sorpresa. That's going to be in the minutes. Sorpresa. So our next meeting is Tuesday, May 31st. You get a little bit of a break. We will do cleanup by then. We will send it to them for review as a shapefile, I imagine, for the zoom-ins and stuff like that. That will be discussed on the 31st. We do have, and you received a calendar invite for June 7th meeting date at City Hall. Again, May 31st, B room, that's Municipal Plaza over where Chambers is, but not in Chambers, the less fancy B room. That's where we'll be on a Tuesday, May 31st. We'll make it fancy. We'll add chocolates. May 31st at 2 p.m. Tentative extra date in case y'all need it. So keep it in your calendars is June 7th, 6 p.m. City Hall if needed. Again, this y'all are anticipated to go to a session with a final proposed plan pending cleanup before City Council on Thursday, June 16th. I think it's June 16th. Look at your calendar. If June 16th is not a Thursday, I'm wrong. It has to be a Thursday. We have a community meeting in District 3. My notes are not in front of me. 24th. Thank you. Former Councilwoman Villagrán. I cannot not call her that. And that is all we got.
Okay, well, thank you. With all of that information updating us on what's coming next, and with everyone standing, including myself, I think we will adjourn.
Thank you. Thank you.